All right, the next topic we're going to talk about is selecting the future of your cow-calf operation. So when we're thinking about the cow-calf operation, we've already talked a little bit about general live animal evaluation and also selecting bulls, but when we think about the future of the operation, I always like to hinge that on the replacement female, because we have to remember that our females that we're putting back in the herd, depending on the age when they enter the operation, they could be anywhere from a 5 to a 15-year investment, depending on how long they last in the cow-calf operation. And so some things that we've got to think about, and we've already talked about some of this in the genetic side, is what breed type of female that do we use to put back in our cow-calf operation. And we've covered a lot of this already in the genetics section, but the first thing that we've got to do is just match the cow to the environment. So figure out which female is best suited to your environment from an adaptability as well as cost perspective. And we've discussed that as you move out of an animal that's less adapted in one environment, if you move them into an environment where they're not adapted to that environment, production costs will most certainly go up because of that, because they're just not as productive in those conditions as well. So some things to think about there. Match the cow to the environment, and then you've got to figure out, well, which breed of bull best complements her genetics to fit a specific market. And whatever market that may be. It may be as simple as the market that's at the local livestock commission or market auction that you have, or it could be selling cattle to online in a video, or directly to an order buyer, or maybe you're retaining ownership of those cattle all the way through the feed yard and then ultimately selling them to the packer. So figure out what cow best works in your area, and then decide on what bull to put on her with the goal of producing that calf to fit a specific markets there. So some things to think about. One of the things is cow size, and we talk about cow size a lot. I'm not going to sit up here and dictate which cow size is best for you, because different areas there's going to be some differences in cow size. But you just have to figure out what your carrying capacity is on your operation, for one, looking at their forage conditions. And so in general, as we move from a drier area with less predictable rainfall to an area where the rainfall is more predictable and more abundant, we will typically increase the cow size. So environmental conditions with heavier rainfall as well as more forage production will typically dictate where you can run a little bit bigger frame size cow. So cow size can range anywhere from 1,000 to 1,600 pounds, depending on the condition and the geographic region that your particular ranch is. So a couple of slides I wanted you to think about, though, as you're making some cow size decisions is, one, look at what the requirements are for protein and energy. And this first slide talks about the crude protein requirements. And we've got a 900-pound cow all the way up to a 1,400-pound cow. And so let's just step back and we'll compare a 1,000-pound cow to the 1,400-pound cow. And you could see there that there is about a half of a pound of protein difference required per day as you compare those two animals there. And so there is some pretty big differences in crude protein requirements. So as we look at this particular slide with TDN, or the energy portion of it, as we compare a 1,000-pound cow to a 1,400-pound cow on energies, you can see there's going to be about 3 pounds of additional energy necessary. That translates into about 5 pounds of average quality forage more for that 1,400-pound cow versus a 1,000-pound cow. Over the year of that animal, a year cycle, you're looking at close to 2,000-pound round bales of hay necessary to support that animal. So again, you think about that from your carrying capacity of your operation as well as the overall feeding inputs of that particular cow-calf operation. So some things to think about there. Just remember that the differences in a mature size will dictate how many animals that you can run on your particular ranch. I always tell folks to remember that if you're basing your stocking rate off of maybe a stocking rate that Grandpa had 40 years ago, cow size is certainly different than what it was 40 years ago, and so you have to be careful with that.